Hey YouTube fans, I'm working on my 2006 Ford F150 today. In the last, I don't know, probably a year, the thing sometimes you get in there, it kind of turns over, it just doesn't want to start. I've kind of been putting it off because it always starts, and then this week it wouldn't start. So I'm trying to fix it. And I got on the internet and I was looking around. A lot of people said before I replace the fuel pump that I need to check a fuel pump driver module. I just want to show everybody else where it is and what the part looks like so you'll know what it is. Alright, well, the first thing I did was you need to check your fuse and you need to get out your manual. So you'll look at your Ford manual. Mine was like page 238, I think it was. And look at your fuse panel. You'll have to figure out which fuse. The fuse panel doesn't show. So mine was fuse number 9 and it checked out okay. That was the first thing I did, checking on the fuel pump. The fuse was still good. Okay, the second thing I did was if you get hit a hard bump or in a collision, you have a safety shut off on the fuel, and I'll show you where that is because it's kind of hard to find. It is just to the left and almost behind the fuse panel, and your fuse panel you're going to find on mine, which is a 2006 Ford F150. It's on the passenger side floorboard over by your right foot, where your right foot would sit, and I'll show that. There's your door jamb. It's going to be back down in here, and you're going to get down in there, and it's hard to see, but it's the fuel reset switch is what we're looking at. And this is a terrible shot because I don't have a light, but you see your fuse panel. It's all the way over to the left. You're going to go way back in there and reach behind, and I don't have a flashlight right now, or I'd show you better. But it's all the way behind there, and it has a red button, and you need to push it down and check it. And I don't think my camera will show it, but because I don't have a light. But anyway, it's way back, it's behind that. So if you're looking at the top or around a fuse panel or anything, you're looking at it, go all the way to the left, and it's behind there. So I pushed that, tried to restart, truck still didn't start. So the next easiest thing I'm going to do before I pull the fuel pump out is replace the fuel pump driver module, and I'll show you that. You're going to notice that this part, it's a genuine Ford part. It didn't come, there's the part number right there. It doesn't come from AutoZone. I couldn't find it anywhere but at the Ford dealer. And that's it right there. You can see that. Got your part number on there. It's got a little standoff leg. And this is kind of like the brains for the fuel pump. So if your truck's not starting, it's not getting fuel, this will be the next step I would say that you're going to want to try. Alright, you have to get out your little jack tool. You have to use your key. If you haven't changed your jack, and it can be tricky, you don't break your key off. But this little plug sits in there like that. You have to stick your key in there and turn it. And when you get it turned, you're going to have to pull. You may even have to get underneath here like I did, because it's kind of corroded around these things. They didn't really want to come out. So you're going to get that out next and assemble your jack so you can turn it in this configuration. It has a self-guiding tube that once you get your tire will lower down on a cable, which you should just leave that on there, and right behind where your cable was, there's your driver control module. There's the left rear tire. It's up right there, and your spare tire hides it. You're gonna have to press in right here with the little screwdriver. Try not to break the tab off, and pull that off. And the next thing I'm going to do is take this off and see if it's corroded. That's the next step. Okay, here's the part off. I just took it off. you can see the back here. Now I've kind of cleaned it up where that corrosion's already starting, and there's a big depression right here. There's a big chunk, so before too long that was going to rot right through there and then cause, you know, bad problems anyway, because the way this metal sits on against that frame, it just traps salt water and anything else, and it just starts to corrode this thing. Like I said, this was real scaly, but I already picked it off. You can see the new one. There's the old one, and here's the new one. So it just shows you, in just a matter of time, this hole right here would have been eaten all the way through there. Alright, I'm going to take a wire brush and I'm going to scrape all that corrosion off of that spot. Next, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start cleaning that. And just, you know, I'm not trying to remove it down to bare metal or anything. I'm just you know, trying to get the corrosion that's starting off there, so I don't have to be that much better next time. Okay, so I got that off there, and then what I want to do is I'm gonna use some connector protection, some dielectric stuff that'll prevent you know, corrosion on the back, and I'm gonna just put that on the back and cover all this, and that'll help. And I'll put a little bit of this, you know, on the plug. Before I plug it back in, I'll coat the plug down in there, and then I'll plug this back in, and I'll remount everything, and we'll see if this truck will start, and maybe I can, you know, get back to driving it. There's my new one. Putting the bolts on here, so get that turned around. And I'm just going to tighten it up here, and then I'm going to check it, and hopefully Whitey Ford will be back in business. Here, I'm going to put the phone back down, or the camera back down, and I'm just going to plug that in. I put some of that dielectric right there and wiped off the excess, so it's actually filling in the prongs before I plug it back in. Alright, I got it back on there. I'm going to see if it starts. Unfortunately, when I used that screwdriver on mine, that little tab was so dried out and rotten that it broke right off. I tried getting it off without touching it. As soon as I touched it, I think I broke it off. So I don't really have anything locking mine on. But so hopefully that doesn't cause a problem down the road. But I'm going to see if it starts first, and we'll see what happens here. Trying to see if I even heard a fuel pump kick on. It started right up. Nice. So this truck has 123,000 miles. So I've seen worse ones, but anyway, that's, yeah, well, what I got now, 121,000. So we'll try that again. I hate that dinging noise because it makes it impossible to hear things. We'll see. I still don't like the way it works, but it is what it is.